The changes in the education sector, the way we assess students, the rise of digitalization and artificial intelligence, the changes in the learning environment, and many other unusual and controversial questions. We will be examining them one after the other in this channel. My name is Daniel Wiśniewski, and this is Education Chapter. Welcome to Education Charter. My name is Daniel Wiśniewski, and again, we are meeting within the framework of the European Educational Leadership Week. We are here with Onni Saltevo, who is from Helsinki, and Onni has a very interesting story to tell us. He's actually a skater that has managed who is also involved in a number of schools as a supporting teacher and a substitute teacher, who is supporting these schools with his passion, which, as you can see, is about skating. Onni, thanks a lot for joining us here today.
No worries. Thanks to you, Daniel, and happy Valentine's Day.
You're calling us from a very cold place. Before we actually started this talk, we chat for 5 minutes, and actually Onni showed me the current state of the Finnish street, and so it's actually quite interesting. How is it possible that in Finland you have so many skaters if it's all the time so much full of snow? But Onni, thanks a lot for being here with us. First of all, tell us your story. How did you fall in love with skating first? What's your story about being a skater?
As being a skater, how I started. And first of all, thanks for having me. Yeah, I have kind of the basic story, to be honest. I played ice hockey and football when I was a kid. But then my classmate was skating, and he was already skating with the older guys. And that seemed so cool for me. And then I started together with my classmates. But I think shortly after that, I became good, I guess. I started to learn tricks, and I got accepted. And at the same time, I didn't care about the football and the ice hockey practice, which were tied into some sort of schedule, and the freedom of skating and the freedom of choosing my own friends was a bit better idea, I guess, for me. Then I fell in love. Here I am after 23 years.
I see. And I know that you have decided to use your passion for supporting vocational schools. I know that you are actually you're actually trying to encourage students or young adults to enter into this profession and kind of support the schools. Can you tell me the story? How did you get involved in the schools that you are currently involved in Helsinki?
Yeah. First of all, I've been working at the same school since 2015, but like my position has changed a lot. Like first I started as a classroom assistant, and then I did that for 1.5 years. Then I went to Barcelona for the winter for my own personal skateboarding reasons, because of the weather in here is too challenging for that. And then I came back, and ever since that, I've been substituting, and mostly sports and healthcare. But I've done every subject as well, but like the math and chemistry and physics, like they're not the most easiest for me. And if someone else can do it, I'm more than happy to give my position for somebody else who is a bit more clever than me in those 3 subjects. But yeah, and then that I done briefly after, I don't know, 6-7 years. And then when this opportunity came, I was asked because first the school approached the Skateboarding Association of Finland to put all this idea together. and they were working with the local association Hellride, the the Helsinki Association for Skaters. And then I think they were thinking that who might be the convenient person for this, and they was like, okay, why not just to like ask Onni? And I was so honored, but I think they didn't ask me straight away. And I think the reason was that for the Tokyo, I was doing the Olympic qualification for Team Finland by myself. So I've been actually traveling quite much with skateboarding. So I've been busy at the same time, but at the same time, I've been in contact with them for these substitutional lessons, what I've been given. So I think they first thought that, okay, maybe Onni is too busy for this. But everything's possible when you just like want the same thing, I guess. And here we are. I'm working in a dream job of mine and having my personal skateboarding career working, I guess, well at the same time. I'm really glad where I'm in my life right now.
It's actually quite interesting because in our call, we run a call here within the Educational Leadership Network Europe. We run a call for a crazy classroom. And I think you sent us a video about your crazy classroom, which was a skateboarding, kind of an underground skateboarding track.
Yeah, it's a bomb shelter. It's a bomb
shelter. So
yeah,
it's
80 stairs down deep into the underground, and there is a whole new world down there. And we have a big indoor skate park in there.
Can you tell me the story? How did you really manage to convince the school, the local community to build a skateboarding track that would support the learning process and the schools in Helsinki? Just if you can tell me the story about that, so we can kind of get to know how did it really happen. Because indeed when we saw this movie, we thought, okay, this is a crazy classroom. This is a crazy teacher who's like using his passion to kind of showcase inclusion and foster inclusion among young people. So just if you could tell us, how did it really happen?
I think you have had some sort of disinformation, because I wasn't the guy who first planned all this and make this work. I was asked briefly after, and the indoor skate park has been there, I think, since 2002, before the time I wasn't even living in Helsinki. I'm originally from Jyväskylä, which is a university town 300 kilometers outside from the Helsinki. I think, but first the school, like any great ideas we get from Sweden. And I said it now. Thank you, Sweden. So Malmö has been had it since, I think, early 2000s. I can be wrong, and sorry, Malmö people, if I'm wrong about this. We've been followed your great work there in Sweden for a long time. And they actually have a skate high school. Our is just like, it's not just like our one is great as well, but it's so much less still for our school to give for the students, because the things are so much further in Sweden. For example, I think they are teaching math and chemistry through skateboarding as well. They are teaching this for the children to count, like for the every sort of measurements from the skateboarding world. How should the quarter pipe should shape, and within which degree and whatnot. But our ones is like had the positive outback from Tampere too, which is like Tampere was the first high school what started this here in Finland 3 years ago. So I think since they had the outback was really positive for them, And I think the principal of ours was like, he got the idea from Sweden and Tampere eventually. So that's how it started.
You mentioned in our preparatory talk that indeed, that one of the reasons why is it so different is because it's actually fostering inclusion. Now, how can really sports foster inclusion? You mentioned there in our preparation that when we skate, we are all the same. But if you can maybe kind of unfold on this a little bit. So how, you work in vocational schools, which I assume well, the background of your students could be diverse. Probably is a diverse background. Now, so how do you really foster inclusion through this skateboarding passion of yours?
Well, that's the thing. I don't, because I treat every people as the same. So I don't make problems for them if they don't come to me and let me know that, okay, I've been feeling a bit down because this and this, and I really can't do this because our family doesn't have any money. I think I'm gonna like notice these things before, like when we are doing something, and if some trip involves own money use, I'm gonna ask like or get little information that first of all, if the school would be willing to pay if we, for example, go somewhere with our skate line, and not just like assume that everybody should have their own money for expensive tickets. But first of all, the inclusion works. I think it's easy because you just treat people how they are, and the indoor park and the skateboarding places where we usually go to skate, they're wide open places where everybody can get like own personal space. So they are not like on the way of each other, and they are actually supporting each other for so much. And like, I don't even like to skate by myself alone at all. So when we have more people in there around, we get positive energy from each other. And I think the inclusion just works naturally for us.
So in other words, you have a feeling of a group of there in there.
Totally.
And
They are still individuals if they want to be. If they want some personal space, of course, everybody respects that. But first of all, more than anything, we are an united group, I would say.
But do you think that this sport activity that you're leading is actually supporting the school in any way? Because of course, I mean, the school is actually inviting you to do this for well, to build a community of people, to build a group. Um, and well, I can imagine that it's very different than having just one teacher in front of in the classroom. But at the same time, you said that I think in our preparatory talk you mentioned that you have like only 7 students there, so it's like a very personalized learning. If you can maybe elaborate on this a little bit.
So are you asking that what is this for the school?
Yes. So first of all,
Okay.
that.
So first of all, we have students from 3 different cities in our class. So I think that those 3 different cities outside of the Helsinki, I'm sorry, 2 plus Helsinki, wouldn't apply for our school. Plus, we have got like super positive media outback from do this like couple months what we have in it, and it's a positive image for the school itself. Plus, in the teachers' rooms, I have got an nice outback from the other teachers that, Onni, your skate liners has been really nice at this class, and they really social and talkative, and like gets other people as well into the class, and they help each other. But like I guess I can't take all the credit for that, because they're just like great human beings by themselves, and I think like the skateboarding background has helped them to treat other people at this high school, because such an early age they have been facing older and younger skaters as well, and they have done the same thing amongst the different people, so naturally they can treat other people like as human beings.
I thank you, Onni. I have a question from I think it's very important what you're saying. It's like, one thing, I play basketball myself. Although I'm a man with well, at least my wife would say it's obesity. I would say it's just slight overweight. But I do play basketball, and I can tell you
Great. It's a great job.
Interesting.
Great hobby.
It's actually quite fun, because I play with all kinds of people of all kinds of backgrounds there, and when we play basket, we are just friends. And I think that's
exactly,
it's one thing that really makes a difference in sports, is that we are all the same. And I do lots of interviews with people like you. They are sports teachers, art teachers, and so on. In many ways, these different subjects are sort of underestimated in a way, saying, wow, math is more important than sports or arts, right? There's this tendency saying that
I had
this is more important.
I had to say.
But at the same time, when it comes to fostering inclusion and making feeling of belonging, these activities are even more important than that. Why? Because, well, you can actually give children and young adults the space to kind of expose themselves, to build a feeling of a group, to express themselves through art, through sports, through dance, and so on and so on. That's why we thought we're gonna reach out to you and talk to you about this. Now, I have a question from the audience. I think it's from Mika, who is from Jyväskylä, actually.
Yeah, Jyväskylä.
So Mika said, how did this cooperation started, if you know, because you said you're not there from the beginning? Who actually contacted who? Was it the school contacting the association, or was it the association contacting the school? How do you know anything about how did it really started?
I tried. First of all, what you just said about people should be seen as how they are is so much more important what they do at the age of 16, and should express themselves. Like, that was a nice way how you turned your opening into the totally different question from what you started to ask. But I tried to reach yesterday my principal, but he wasn't at school yesterday. And then I reached my friend from the Skateboarding Association of Finland, and I said that I asked them that how did this actually all started. So they said that they approached themselves, and like they were contact to each other long before I came into the picture. So I think I'm not having the whole story in here, but like I said, it first came the idea from Sweden to Tampere, and then from Tampere for our school, and then the actual possibilities made it happen. Like we have the indoor park, and we have the outdoor skate park just next to our school. And then I've been working at the school, and it's a private school where the funding comes a bit more faster and easier, so everything is easier to make it happen. But if you still have some other questions or the comments, or if we would talk about like this cruel world, what is accepting to be 15 and 16-year-old students to be ready for the world as at the age of 16 is way too much. And for my own personal, I'm soon to be 31, and I found this like last year, and I think all the skateboarding and the sports and all related things, I think it's just a small percentage of people who actually makes living out from this. And if people are more interested about who will pay taxes instead of how people are actually doing, I think that is the one reason why they are making such a pressure for the young students back to go somewhere and make money and pay taxes and be something what they maybe want to be, and not to be part of like what, or not to even care what like the students would like to be. And I have a story for this, and I think I come from the high educational family, like my family, they're doctors and teachers and whatnot, and I'm a skater. So every Christmas meal, I've been always asked that,
What
okay,
do you do for a living?
Onni, when you're gonna apply for the school? Because I never went any uni for this. I think I came from the different routes. I'm a bit more self-learned guy than maybe some else can be in the same position. But the question that when I'm going to be applying for the university, they stopped when I became when I won the championships of skateboarding of Finland back in 2019. So that was a funny moment when everything changed, because I think they saw that it actually come out from something. But since day one, it wasn't their thing, it was my thing. And it always been, and it was always been for every other skaters. It's a personal thing, and we don't do this for any other people. We do this for ourselves.
It's actually, it's actually quite interesting what you're saying is that, if we would actually conclude this, I would say people need to be seen for who they are, and it's true that in
It's simply
society,
as that.
and it's true that even in the way society works, and even in the way the schools are organized, they indeed cover a very narrow spectrum of certain skills that are useful for the economy. And I think one thing that I will take from this talk with you is that there's so much more to people than what they do or the skills that they have. And maybe this is actually a way for us to rethink the way we actually want to educate kids, because they have so many talents that cannot be fostered because they are never noticed in the mainstream education. Now, another question here from the audience. You have had many students. Do you have any inspirational story about any of them? So I don't know do you know anyone who actually been through difficulties and being part of your group has helped them to kind of overcome it, or is it not happening in your practice?
We only have 7 students, and I think they are watching this, and the family background of them are watching this. So I wouldn't like to share the negative side because they are easily recognizable from the story itself. But if we start to look the things from the positive point of view, I got touched. I got emotional of me like 2 weeks ago when my student landed the first downgoing handrail. And that wasn't just him who did it. That was the whole class who did the trick. and we were all so hyped for him, and do the process when he was slamming couple times. All the people were cheering for him and saying that next try you'll have this, and this is how we work in there.
Mhm.
I'm sorry that I didn't answer your question, but I think I don't want to answer to that. I'm sorry.
No, no worries. Of course, I mean, look, I'm not trying to get any personal story of any of your students. This is not really what I've asked. Well, it's more about how can really, is there any way that sports and skating in particular can somehow, well, lift people up in one way or another, or help them to progress in their education? Is this in
Okay,
any way?
okay. This
That's
is
really this is really the question I was having.
okay. Now I got this. Yes, in a million different ways. So they have been like our skate lessons are on the Wednesday afternoon and on the Thursday morning, and they have told to me that I wasn't feeling at all to go into school today, but since I knew that we can go to skate, I decided to stay for the whole day, and I've heard that a lot, and that's how it works. And now we started the photographing class for this period. Our season is divided into 5 periods, and in every period the skateboarding is there, and there's nobody who will take the skateboarding out from us. But of course they are studying the high school, the rhythm as any other students at the school. But like right now we'll have the photographing class and photographing course, and in the final 5th period we will have the videographing. So and those are the 2 things what are really related to skateboarding. So we can actually offer a lot during these times for them, so they don't have to just study the most traditional school subjects. So due to that, they really want to come to the school and want to be there and do what they want to.
I think one key message of all this, or maybe 2 key messages that we have actually come with a conclusion to all this, is 1, people have to be seen for who they are with their talents. 2, our spectrum of talents and our spectrum of abilities is much wider than the school can provide.
So much wider.
Maybe we need to really look into the way to rethink the school itself, so these talents could actually be captured and fostered. And 3, it's about belonging. It's about making people feel that you actually you're part of this group. You said,
Totally.
I may have students that may not really be willing to go to this traditional kind of school, but because we have a skating on that day, they would say, I'm gonna go to stay and go for skating. Onni, thanks a lot for your inspirational story. Thanks a lot for sharing with us. Thanks a lot for those of you who have watched it live. But before we actually finish this, we wanted to maybe show the video that you have sent us. So we have it prepared, and we're going to close with that. So just for the viewers of the Education Chapter channel, if you like what you see, comment on this. What do you think about sports? Is sports important in mainstream education? To what extent it can actually foster inclusion, or how can it really makes people feel belonging to a group? And for that, we're gonna leave you with the video, and we're gonna close it for today.
Thank you. Mä oon Onni Saltevo 30 vuotta ja mä vedän Helsingin yhteisöllisessä Kontulassa skate. 2023 aloitin ensimmäisen ja pelasin opissa. Täällä me yleensä hieno.
You have a microphone.
Tuu talviaikana. Skeittilinjalle päästäkseen tarvit 7.0 keskiarvo ja lisäksi ennakkotehtävä, jolla osoitat, että olet motivoitunut seuraavaksi 3 vuodeksi kehittää itse. Perinteisten kouluaineiden lisäksi linjalla opetetaan skeittauksen ohella sitten valokuvausta, videokuvausta, tapahtumatuotantoa, kaupunkisuunnittelua ja sitten meillä on vielä projektiopinnot siihen. Skeittauksessa korostuu yhteisöllisyys tosi paljon. Se huomaa parhaiten semmoisena vertaisoppimisena siellä meidän oppitunneilla, että vaikka ne on eri tasoisia skeittaajia, niin ne osaa toinen toistaan vähän niin kuin tsempata ja auttaa pikkujutuissa niin kuin se henkilökohtaisen tarpeen mukaan, milloin ehkä kannattaa antaa näitä vinkkejä ja milloin kannattaa pitää sitten ihan vaan sulkia ja antaa semmoinen rauhallinen oppiminen.
Skeittaus. Lukio ja harrastus.
Skeittilinjalla on tosi iso merkitys mulle, koska mä olisin muuten varmaan mennyt johonkin ammattikouluun.
Skeittitunnit tuo lisää motivaatiota koulunkäyntiin, koska ne antaa mulle lisää energiaa.
Perinteiset kouluaineet voisivat oppia sitä rentoutta ja sitä niin kuin yhteishenkeä, mitä oikeasti on täällä skeittitunneilla, sellaista avoimuutta.
Koska meillä on niin hyvä ja uniikki tapa opettaa asioita, jotka tuottaa hyviä tuloksia, niin mä toivon, että jos vaan perinteiset oppiaineet pystyisivät ottaa meistä jotain vinkkejä omaan opetukseen, niin ne tulisi ja tutustuisi ja sitten vielä käyttäisi niitä omissa metodeissa. Hey.
So I think it's pretty clear that this is a crazy classroom, isn't it? Thanks a lot for that. For those of you who will continue with us, today is a day of researchers. So we are going to have a break until 10:15, I assume. And at 10:15, we're going to meet within the scope of the European Educational Leadership Week to talk about research. We're going to have a number of research corners, and we will be presenting innovative research in the field of education in three different calls that we have launched. So stay with us. See you at 10:15. And one more time, thanks a lot for being with us at the Education Charter. All the best to you.